switch this over to this. And have a look at my own to make sure we are doing this. And there we go. Good to go. All right. How is everybody doing? I was doing a live stream earlier for UVing character. Now we're going to bring it in Substance Painter to where I can paint it correctly, I hope. So we're going to go with new. Oops, that wasn't open. I need to go with new. And I'm going to go, yeah. PBR metallic roughness. Let's go with a 4K resolution of the document. Now I'm going to open up my figure guy here that we have. We want the low res, so the one with the UVs. I'm going to open that up. Hopefully everything is good to go. And it looks okay. So there we have the base mesh for it. There we go. And so first things first, I'm going to need to come over into my texture settings and create ambient occlusion for that particular layer and displacement, just in case we need it. I'm going to come down and bake mesh maps. And I'm going to do this probably at 2K. And right over here is something a lot of people don't realize. You can use a high poly mesh to create your normal maps. So I just come over here and select where that is. We select my high res model. And then now that's all good. And if everything lines up, it should look okay over here. Just giving this a chance to work itself out. It's creating like a cage. This is a very high resolution mesh. I did not even decimate it, I don't believe. So this could be like 10 million polygons for all I know. I probably should have done that now that I think about it. But yeah, it works. It fits perfectly around. There's no red. And we're just going to go ahead and bake the textures and wait about 4 years. And you can see how it's baking. It's looking really good so far. So we're in the money. And once the bake gets done, we can come out and color it interesting colors. That looks like it's all done. Wow, very quick. And we're going to go back to painting mode. And now you will see all of our lovely detail on the base mesh. So this can be animated very easily compared to the high res version. And so we're just going to start. Let's get some kind of skin going here. I'm gonna select some type of a human skin. I have this feverish one here somewhere. This one. It's a great start. I'm just gonna throw it on everything, and yeah, that's looking pretty decent for a start. All of these things like the veins, we can come in and paint those by hand, but you can kind of see this looks pretty good. And any of this kind of stuff that looks a little more peaked than others, we can smooth that later on too. But so far, so good. I'm also probably going to make this top part kind of a different-ish color than toward the bottom. And I can do that a number of ways. Let's go back to our layers over here. And we can add, well, let's just find a different color that we want this to be. Now I don't want to keep this flesh tone. Let's start there. I'm going to come down and actually make this skin base probably something more in the green-ish realm here. And that's going to be mostly that kind of stuff. So the darker, I guess, is going to be this skin dark here. This is going to be most of our color, looks like. So I'm just going to pull this down, something kind of, maybe kind of like that. The other color I'm going to make it a little less electric, maybe a little more drabby, maybe even a little more yellow-green. we go. Something like that looks pretty good. Nice contrast. Yeah, so my wrapper name is going to be as Contrast West. All right, and so with that now, we've got all kinds of other stuff. These patches, all of that. I don't think we need to worry so much about some of this stuff. I mean, it looks pretty good. All of our little spots and things, they all just kind of have worked out. And so now we can do whatever we want to with it. I'm going to do like a ground dirt to where it gets dark at the bottom and it comes up to lighter as it goes up. So let's close this up. We're going to create a smart mask. Got to clear my search here. And I'm just going to look for like a ground dirt. Here's one dirt ground. I'm going to see if that one works. To start with, that is not bad, but not exactly what I want either. We can reverse it and see if it looks better. Now, don't pay attention to the color. That's not important yet. So in the inverted, that's better, but still I don't want the dirt at the top. So we can get rid of this mask here. Just gonna cut the whole layer. And let's just look for a different ground dirt. I have one that goes really only on the ground, like this guy right here. This will just make us darker at the bottom. We can spread that out as much as we want. I'm probably going to do this in 2 pieces with it. And what I mean by that is, in this mask editor, I'm going to have it blurred somewhat. And then I'm going to have this kind of stretch up farther, where we get a nice blend from the bottom to about there. And this is going to be probably, I don't know, I'm trying to decide on the color. We can paint this part out as well if we wanted to. I just have to go onto my mask here and grab my eraser, and you can come in here and, well, evidently you can't. I'm gonna come into the eraser and probably need to swap it out. Negative, positive. Where are you, Mr. Brush? Opacity, flow, size. Well, that mask should be drawable. I probably have to put a paint layer on it, so we're just gonna take this and right here on the mask, right click, I just remembered, and I'm gonna add paint to that, and it shouldn't do anything until we paint. And let me go into there and find if it's gonna let me do the positive and negative, which I'm not seeing. Let me just double click it, maybe that may. Nope. So I don't know why that's not working. I'm going to pull that toward the bottom now, see if it works there. Because I should, this usually, it's supposed to, allow me to paint my mask, and that is not working for some odd reason. Let's see. Maybe... Let me see. Yeah, I'm not seeing the way to paint the mask there. I'm very... Oh, you know what? Because I'm on the eraser. That would help. So now you can come in here and paint the mask if you are selected on it. And also this needs to be inverted. And that still is not working. Weird. Okay. So I will add a paint layer to it now, or a paint function here, generator. Paint, I mean. And now we should, there we go. I could not remember for the life of me how to get there. And now I'm just going to kind of zoom around, get rid of some of the spots up here. Well, whew, that was close. All right, and some of these are odd, and that has to do with the way the UVs were broken up. I was trying to mention that earlier. You're going to get some oddness if they're done weirdly. differently. But it looks, for the most part, very good. That I can blur out if we need to. All this also, let me just take my brush here and see if I can blur my brush a bit. I can at least take the opacity down and start rubbing this back and forth until it's gone, just to get rid of any of these weird harsh edges because of the UVs. Cat's at it again, isn't she? My cat gets very vocal when I do a live stream. It's like, you're not paying attention to me. Okay, so there's that. Let's move this around. Come on. There we go. That maybe. I think for the most part, this is pretty good. Looks like there's a little oddness here because of how I handled that earlier. There we go. I'm not worried about the tiny spots either. Now the whole point of doing what I just did, just kind of break this up a little bit here. There's some harsher edges happening. Whole point of doing this now is I can come back into this color and pretty much make it whatever we want. This I'm gonna maybe go with a very darky black kind of, I don't know, kind of look like that. And we're gonna make that also not slick, so the roughness of this I'm gonna bring up. And of course we can come back in here in this same mask and apply a whole other material to it. Matter of fact, I can copy this layer if we want to. I'm sorry, duplicate this layer. Where are we at? Duplicate it. I'm going to keep that one at the top and turn it off for now, and then the material on this one I'm going to swap out for something, you know, interesting, some dirt or I don't know what. Let's just kind of look and see what we've got. These are some smart materials in here, and I'm probably just going to go with the standard material. Looks like some of my stuff isn't in here. And then, yeah, every now and then they update and all my materials get lost. So let's go find what else we've got over here in the standard materials. Let's use this dirt material in this particular layer. And it's going to populate here real quick. That'll change all this black we just did into this dirt material, which is super handy. Takes a minute. That of course depends on your machine. Now you see it's too big, so I'm just going to come over and tell it, make that way smaller, dude, like this. So that's not horrible. I'm not a huge fan though at the moment. Let me just turn this off and on to see where we're affecting. And see, we're affecting way too much, way too far out there. So with that, we can also pull back the mask on this. Oops. Got to go to the mask right here, and then go to the mask editor. And now if we want, we can pull the blur back some, and then also the amount of coverage this thing has. Let's just see what they're using for it. There's not an amount, so global balance is going to be it. We're going to pull that back until we get the stuff in the area we want. Let's try with a little global contrast now to kind of see. And I really didn't want any of that at the top now that I think about it. So I'm going to pull the ambient occlusion back just to let's see where it puts this at or not. Turn the curvature up to where it accounts for that more. Yeah, or less, I should say. That works, but I'm going to have to paint out the rest of that if I'm going to use this. So, I mean, it's cool. I don't know now that I'm thinking about it if I want to, but I think I do. Let's go ahead now and paint the mask here. And I'm going to want to add right here, paint bit. And with that selected and our paint selected, I'm going to attempt to remove that by swapping my color over to white, I think is what I want. Nope, that's going to make more. So we're going to actually put it all the way to black. Try to get rid of that. And that looks like it's not doing everything. So that's not making me horribly happy. We'll use the opacity here. There we go. The opacity was just set too low. I don't know why I'm not using my pen for this. I've got it in my hand, yet I'm painting with the mouse. Who does that? Alright, so that looks good. Let's just get a little more off of this. I don't want this other detail to be affected by stuff I don't want it to be affected by. Which makes sense, I suppose. To some. Let's just get this moved around a bit more. So if you were watching me last night, you know, this is probably interesting to see because I actually sculpted the entire creature. I just took a ball, a sphere. I was gonna say I had a ball. I did. And then I took that sphere and made, come on now. Having a hard time rotating this guy around. And then I just made this dude out of it, you know, just kind of kept pulling and pulling and sculpting and changing it. And at the beginning I had no idea what I was going to be making, just something kind of odd, but I think he's going to make a cool little character that's kind of just living, you know, amongst the other flora and fauna in a forest or something like that. I don't know. I won't know until I know. So I'm just getting rid of some more of this extra we didn't plan, keeping it all literally on the down low of this guy. Yeah, that's interesting for sure. Now we can turn the black back on, and then I'm going to actually back it off quite a lot. Matter of fact, I wonder if we could just do that with my opacity here. That's not horribly bad. Kind of takes that stuff toward the bottom and darkens it a little bit more, which is kind of cool. A little more organic looking, I think, overall. This is going to be the quote-unquote front side. Okay, well, let's work on these little odd port things. Now, my first inclination is to come in here and make these dark, but we're going to lose pretty much all of their, you know, detail, or all of their, what would you call it, contrast or whatever, to the rest of the thing. So I think what I want to do is create just a new layer here of my own. Probably, yeah, let's just create a layer. We're going to mask this though with our own color. So I'm going to add a black mask, and it masks everything. And then we can paint through on the mask to make holes, essentially, for whatever else we want to put on here. I can use basic colors, which is fine. I do that a lot. We can also grab a material that's kind of, you know, weird. Let's just grab this guy and see what happens when I throw that on there. This is like a Bakelite, I think, or something, texture, or material, I should say. And if I kind of come in here and use my brush, I'm gonna have to paint this guy. So I'm gonna right click and add paint to it, because I guess the last one we added wasn't good enough. And to see if this is actually gonna work, I gotta do probably opposite on my paint here. We are on the brush. The opacity is up everywhere, so I'm not getting anything though. It's because I'm not painting on the mask, I will bet. So let's go back here. I'm going to take this paint off. We don't need it there. We actually want it on the mask. So we will right click the mask and add that paint back in here. And now when I paint, it should reveal. There we go. But I think that material might just not be the right one, but we are going to take color down to a little more of a weird pinkish color, I think. Something maybe like this. And we're also going to go to the brush settings, and I'm going to make that's fine, that's fine. I was just checking all of this. We're going to make our brush not so harsh. There we go. Pull our flow way down. That way we can just kind of come in here and reveal this a bit at a time. It doesn't look like, though, our color has changed for some reason. So let me just check on that again. For whatever reason, it doesn't seem... And that might have to do with the roughness. I'm going to up or lower the roughness a little bit and just kind of see why we're not getting the color I want. That's kind of a whitish color. Oh, it's because we're painting on the mask. We're not actually, but we should be. Yeah, it should only be this color that's coming through. Okay, well, you know what I'm going to do is delete this layer, add a different material, or just use my own, which would be just as good. So let's go ahead and add a paint layer, and we should be able just to paint directly. And now I'm going to come in and find the color that I want to use right here. And right now we're just going to use color. Let's just kind of warm that up slightly like that, maybe. And I do want to keep that opacity really low. So that's going to be stroke opacity real low. And we're going to hopefully be able to maybe build on that a little bit. That one's still a little bit too strong. And in fact, let's take it down, but also our flow, because this way we can build on that kind of look. And that's not horribly bad. It's not bad. Another thing we can do too is to put this behind these black ones, the dirt layers, and that way we still keep that darkness that any of this may or may not have caused by going on there. So there's not much of it, but there is some. And I think that's working okay, but I don't really like the color now that I think about it. So let's undo the color painting there. And I'm gonna, let me redo for my paint layer, redo, add layer. And on this paint layer now, we are gonna drop that below. And I want to, yeah, adjust the color a little bit. So I think it's a little too orange. Kind of go with I want to go with a little more of a pinkish color here. And then of course, with our flow and stuff being very low, we can add as much of that into here as we want. So I'm just going to kind of test it. I think that looks a little better. And it's very subtle. That's how I'm trying to keep it. Very, very soft brushing. Mostly on the surface. And it's cool that something like this can be made just from a sphere that I did last night. So it's not me being impressed with myself, it's impressed with the just the way it works, you know, just the nature of the whole scenario of doing this kind of work still fascinates me to this day. I always wanted to do this kind of thing, and man, did I have a lot of issues with it in the beginning. Had no idea, you know, how to make something and then transfer the detail like a displacement map or whatever. And I spent hours and hours and days and weeks, I mean forever, and honestly years. I had no idea how to do certain things. And then, you know, I, believe it or not, by switching to Blender, it just made all the sense in the world compared to the way Maya had it set up. And, you know, perhaps it was because I was working by myself mostly, and, you know, had made things harder to figure out that way. But the world change. You know, it was wonderful. All right, so for the top, I don't know if I want a completely different new color. Maybe, because I don't necessarily want it to look absolutely like this bottom piece. I do kind of want to go in here and darken some of this stuff around here. So with this the same paint tool, you can come in here and paint right over again on the same layer without having to mess with any of your other color. It'll paint right up in where you want it to. It doesn't mess up anything, which is my favorite way to do it, because messing my stuff up is not my favorite technique. It's been a pretty common technique, though. Just kidding. I mean, I can mess it up as good as anyone, I guess. Now, I'm not particularly enjoying the way I have the lights set up in here, because it's making this very hard to see what is reflecting here. I can go change the position of the lights here in a sec. But it is, like from this side, looking really nice. You can really see that, how that goes. Probably wanted to pull that down even a little darker here. Some spots just in the deeper areas. He's not going to make a "that's what she said" joke. I think I just did by accident. Let me turn up the flow just a little bit. Maybe the opacity instead. I don't necessarily want more paint, I just want it darker. So then we can come here and sort of darken this edge down slightly. I'm doing this very quickly, but trying to be as natural about it as possible without overdoing the, you know, the messing with it too much. Just getting it done. Okay, now to figure out what this is gonna do, because it's gonna kind of be representative of what it is depending upon what colors I put in this part, I think. If I went blue, it would be one way. Another green, maybe some yellows would be kind of cool. I just want to definitely keep it away from looking like a brain, and I want to keep it from looking like a walking broccoli. You know, Walkley. That was classic. Okay, let's go ahead and figure out my lighting here, because I'm not really caring for this. Let's see, where's my shadows and whatnot. The environment's kind of cool to have. You can kind of tell where things are coming from, but the rotation of it is always good. I definitely want to put shadows, I think, at the moment, and then I'll rotate this when needed. I think that looks okay. Let's see if we need anything else here. Just leave it like this at the moment. It gives me a more kind of natural looking light to kind of see what's going on. Alright, so if we did kind of a yellowish, let's I'm gonna have to mess with this off and on, aren't I? Let's go ahead and pick kind of a yellowish color, not too much, just a little yellow or green like that. And I'm gonna make another paint layer because I don't necessarily want that one to be affected by this one. I'm just gonna start bringing out some of the little highlights to make it not so grayed out. If that makes any sense. I'm just gonna look here. Skin feverish. I might throw this layer right on top of that skin base though. Let's find this one, put it in this folder right on top of that skin base. That way my darks will stay and I can still paint the yellows. We can even make those more opaque. I'm not seeing much of a change with them. And that's because this base color might need to be brighter given the color the other is. Yeah, and that's what it is. There we go. So I'm just trying to brighten up some of these areas, make them a little bit more prominent. Very much trying not to overdo it though. It was auto-saving. I was like, what's happening? Don't scare me. So here, I'll probably need to turn my shadows off again. Let's just go ahead and find that. Shadows off for the moment. Okay, I think that's kind of cool. Lighting's obviously going to play a huge role with this dude. I'm almost wanting to darken up the cracks of the legs and stuff again. So let's go and add, it's going to have to be on top of that whole thing, I think. I'm going to go ahead right here and add let's add a fill layer. It's going to be white to start with. This will help us see where it belongs. And with a smart mask, we're going to kind of pick out one of these that makes sense. So we don't want sand. I'm going to want something that's in the, maybe we do, because that's kind of like the ambient occlusion or the occlusion. I'm going to throw this on as a mask, and now we'll get sand in or the white parts in the holes there. I'm going to go to the mask editor, and this is how you can tell how much of this you're going to be using. So I'm going to pull it back quite a bit. Just try to get it in the cracks more than anything of some of these more harsh parts. And then I'm going to blur it just slightly to soften it up, but that's not going to work. That's a little too much. Let's go with the contrast, see what's happening there. And then this texture here, this was going to be kind of our breakup of everything. So you can have a lot, a little. You can use a second texture to break this one up or add to it. Let's just see what's happening there. I kind of like the other one on for sure though, and this one off. Let's just pull this one back slightly. Okay. And curvature, we can test how much of what's going to do what. I like that because it's going to keep all of our smaller ones. This is what I was looking for though primarily. I just wanted to get rid of some of that larger stuff. This is just for the cracks. And I think that works. So now what I'm going to do is come up and change the color, something kind of a dark green or dark brown, to really darken up some of those. There we go. That looks a lot better. So you get a lot of this kind of thing happening. Let's see if it looks good with a brownish color though. Instead, I think that works. Cool. All right, so there's that. Now I think I might come in here with these veins. We definitely though do not want to make them look like flesh veins with you know, the reddish or bluish color. I mean, blue would probably be okay, but I don't want them to look like necessarily blood flowing through them. I don't think I need to break up much else unless I put some lighter color coming from the top. Not sure on that just yet, but let's good try. Let's just go ahead and throw another layer up here with this moss. It's kind of like a downward sunlight kind of thing. I'm gonna make sure we don't actually have a sun fade at the moment because there used to be one here. They took it out. Really bummed me out. I guess I can just go always find one. You could use a ground dirt and use the opposite, probably inversion of it. I don't know, but okay, so we're gonna throw this guy in, and I'm going to obviously adjust the mask now to have much of a less effect. Looks like we're slowing down a bit. Hopefully it's not because I have Blender open, because I really don't want to crash this thing. So we'll just knock this down even more. It's not horrible. The nice thing is it's going to pick up all our veins here. I'm going to knock down the contrast slightly just to see what happens. Maybe even a little more. Yeah, maybe even a little more. Gotta wait for it to catch up and show going across the bottom. I think that's fine. And then let's just see what happens. The AO could make a difference here. The ambient occlusion, that's probably a little bit better. I'm going to change the color now to like maybe a really light green, but not a green with a lot of saturation to it. So something with a little more. Could also do it really dark, you know, and that's an interesting look as well. Okay, I think I don't have the mask right yet, so let's work more on that. And perhaps let's change it back to white temporarily to kind of see what's going on. This is a little too blotchy. So back in our mask, and I'm going to not bad. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really care for the blotchy, so we're just going to yank that almost all the way out. I'm going to pull some of this back as well just to see. I do like that because now we're going to get mostly the veins that I was looking for. Curvature, where it's going to bring it up and down. I'm going to try it a little more. Okay. Try this dude here. Does the top down curvature. I'm just going to see where my limit kind of stops and starts. It's not horribly bad. World space normal. Yeah, let's just give this now kind of a color just to see what happens. Like I said, I don't want to get all bright and hit, you know, weird spots. We can always also color out some of those areas too. A little more of the blue. So this is pretty much pulling it out, and it's not really hitting that as a color, because I think what's happening is this is going transparent somehow within our mask, but definitely don't want to do what I'm doing. Let's that's all fine. Opacity is 1. We definitely want that. I'm gonna get rid of opacity. We don't need the channel because I'm just using it as color or any of that. I don't believe I need a metallic on this. That's fine, no displacement. Let's just try that mask again because it's not quite right. I mean, it's close. It's not quite right. I don't want to really have a bunch of scratches or a bunch of weird wonky areas, and now it feels like I'm kind of not including the veins as much. I don't mind this, and I'm thinking honestly, if I change this color to getting a little more into some weird purple, dark of course, it might be kind of cool to have this sort of bruisey, kind of green, bruisey kind of vibe. And I don't know why, in all honesty, it's not darkening out like the alpha is not happening. It's okay though. It looks really cool like this though. I really, really like the veins showing up in this sort of bruisey kind of look. So let's go with that for starters. And it's quite possible I'm going to throw another layer on here and maybe just paint. But I'm thinking another ground, a different type of ground, grunge. I don't know. I mean, I really like it the way it is, to be honest with you. I really actually do. I say maybe some spots somewhere, but other than that, I cannot imagine anything else that really needs to be on this guy. I think it's cool. I actually really like where he's at. It's not hurting me at all. Let's just export him out. Okay, so right now we're just going to come in here, File, Export Textures. I'm okay with it. I mean, if you feel like it's good, I say go for it. Hopefully we're still streaming. Are we? I'm gonna refresh my page here. I don't know that we're still streaming. It says we're live, but yeah, I guess we are. Okay, so now I'm going to export my textures out. We are going to go to the appropriate drive, and there we go. There we go. I'm going to save these textures out into a folder. Call it textures. Imagine that. And yeah, that'll be our folder. We're going to do these as a PNGs, PBR, and let's do them at 2K. And that should be good to go. So we just say export. It runs through and does the little thing. And we say good. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to save this as well to make sure we are able to save the where are we at? Okay, there we go. Save the actual paint file. And then we can come back over to Blender, which we are going to swap out our OBS for now. Not that, but this. Not sure why that's even where it is. And I'm going to flip the screen over. Sorry about that, guys. Cool. All right, so now I'm going to close Painter. We got everything we need from that. And now here in Blender, I'm going to get our textures going. So we need to at least go into the material preview, and we're going to go right here into shading. And we're going to bring our stuff in, putting on this principled BSDF. So I'm just going to add a texture here, image texture. I mean, if you want to, you can also use your Node Wrangler, but We won't need it in this. Control T is how you get that up here. I guess I don't have it displayed yet or on at the moment. So I'm going to plug my color into my base color. We're going to take this too and copy and paste these. Actually, we're not. We're going to Shift D these guys out. And we're going to do one more. And then I can start bringing in my other nodes. But to start with, we're going to bring in his texture. So this will be the color, which goes on there very nicely. We're going to go for our metallic, which is going to come in from the same folder, metallic. And that has to be set to non-color. And then we're going to bring in our roughness, which also, you can see super wet. We can bring in our roughness here, which is going to be here. That is also needing to be set to non-color. And the one that's going to make all the difference in the world, we're going to add a vector normal map. I'm going to plug that dude in right here. And then we're going to leave it at 1 for now, but I'm going to take this color and put it here. Everything's going to go weird. And then we're going to open that normal map from here, and it is going to throw all of our beautiful detail right back on that dude. And set it to non-color, of course, and it will look great now, as you can see. So when it has a light on it, which this doesn't, we're going to go back into layout. When it has a light on it, it will look great. So let me just throw in a light so I can prove that to you. Go into add light. Let's just use a sun. Why not? I'm going to angle this a little bit just to make it not horrible. And you can kind of see where that's going. If we throw on ray tracing now, which is in the new Blender, and we put like a floor underneath this dude, so like add mesh plane, I'm just going to drop this lower. You'll start to see it reflect bounce light actually off of it onto the dude. As soon as I start making this larger, you'll get a little bit of bounce lighting on here underneath, which looks great. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but trust me, it's there. If I turn the light up brighter, you can even see it definitely more, but you start to see all the detail. Something I want to do is grab both of these, pull them up, which if I need to adjust my high res with my low res, I've totally ruined that, but we won't need to do that anymore. So in my sunlight here, I'm just going to grab that, go to the modify here and bring that up a bit more so you can kind of see how that's gonna work. I think he looks pretty fantastic myself, guys. I don't know what you guys think. I say guys a lot apparently. Yeah, he looks awesome. I want to make sure, yeah, no, everything looks good. We don't even need a subsurface modifier or anything. So what I'm going to do now is go back to our standard kind of material view, or even this one. We are going to rig the guy. So stick around if you want to see that. I like to use Auto Rig Pro, even though I'm not going to be using a armature. On this one, I think I very well might use, nah, we're not. Let's just do our own armature here. So what we're gonna do is, I think we have to do an empty first, like so. Gets us going, and now we can start adding our limbs. And I'm gonna add, I guess we need a small spine, I suppose. Even though I don't think that's true. I think we should just use 4 legs. or arms, whichever will work. And I think legs will be better just because this is essentially going to be um, legs, and they need to function the way that legs do. We don't need toes, so that's the nice thing. You can come in here to these limb options, and you could say no thumb, no index, no pinky, if you don't want them, obviously, and say okay, and those should go away. And I mean, I could put them in there to where you have a little movement, but it's not necessary. I'm gonna try and do this. Hopefully, things will work the way I'm wanting. So first things first, I'm gonna grab my joints, put them approximately where they go. I'm just gonna grab the whole entire foot, stick it like so, and then from the side. And I'm using a technique from a dude that I follow. Let's just hope it's going to work today. What I need it to. I don't know that it will. If not, I can always go back and start this particular part of the process over, and it should be okay. We'll see though. And you do want to like rotate your limbs to get the appropriate roll of them. So that will be something that we're going to need to worry about at some point. I think that's going to be either an item. Is it an item? This is my transit roll right here. So I can adjust how that bends, how that's turned. And you kind of want that so that it doesn't bend weird. Cool. Okay, so with this, I think that I can now just add another limb. I don't know. This is where I start to get worried that I'm going to add in something that's not going to be connected properly, parented. But then you just parent it. It's fine. I just add a single bone and parent that in. So we're going to add another leg, and this one I'm going to use the let's try the right leg. Yeah, there we go. And you can actually mirror these bones over as well, which may be the better way of doing this. Just get rid of them. Let's find out if I can mirror the skeleton here. Right click, mirror, but symmetrize is really what I'm going to want to do. So let's get this side built and then we'll symmetrize. Alright, so I'm just going to take this guy. I wonder if I can symmetrize here as well, but do it on the other axis. So let me find out what my symmetry, there we go, that'd be X. Well, let's do front to back. I'm just going to make a lot of decisions and then change my mind at this point. So let's, I'm just going to make a back leg here. I think I want to do the other, the right, and then flip it around, I think, because that will give me, did I do something weird with the symmetry? Add limb. We're going to use leg right. There we go. And now I can rotate this whole thing around, I think, without ruining it. And this will give us the proper angle for the back leg. So I'm just going to grab the whole thing, stick it here, grab my joints and move those into position approximately. I'm just going to probably leave that, I don't know, maybe I should move the foot, because it would be good to have a kind of a twist movement to that foot if we wanted it. Probably do the same thing here. Bring this one up a bit too to kind of allow for that. Then these are my foot roll controls, so we'll get back to those. And let's take a look at this one from the front to match up, which obviously it's very not right. So we just grab these, move everything over. This one should be at least moved sideways. Just gonna kind of look around, see if it looks okay. I think that works. So that's the front and back legs. And then we're going to symmetrize those eventually, but I need some type of a backbone in here and then a head bone, at least for this top section. So with nothing selected, I'm going to go with add limb and add a spine, and that works. Let's just get from the side where it's going to be and where it's going to come from and to. I think the spine mainly can go to about there. And then I'm going to grab this bone, move it here. This one can be kind of in the middle of those. This one will drop back just a little as well. From the front now, to make sure it's in the middle, which it looks like it is, we're good. And then with nothing selected, I am going to add another limb, which is going to be the head, which we do not need a face for, so I'm just going to go to limb options. It says this limb has no parameters. Not true. We're going to go to that head bone and go to limb options. And we don't need skulls. We do not need eyebrows. We do not need eyes. And we don't need nose, cheeks, mouth, and chins. And say, okay, all that should disappear. And then now I want to take those two bones and from the side move up, put them somewhere here. This neck will wind up being mounted or bonded to that. This head bone will of course be sized up. I'm probably gonna have to put in a couple of bones to make sure that that doesn't collapse while moving. That works. I'm going to go from the side perfectly again, and I'm going to snap my cursor to this joint. So cursor to selected, and then we're going to go this guy, right click, snap selection to cursor, and it'll put those two bones together perfectly, which you kind of need. This will be very squishy if we leave this open. I'm not sure if I want to do that just yet. And I think from the side, I'm going to add a bone that is going to attach to this head. Let me see, add single bone. Let me see, how would I add a bone to this? It's going to give me bone, just single bone. Disable import mesh rig. Okay, I'm going to need to add a bone and then parent it in. So add without anything, single bone. I'm going to grab that one, move it, whoops, not that one, move this one somewhere, kind of somewhere off the head here. And I'm going to copy this one, paste it, oops, grab this bone, duplicate it, and move the top part out over here somewhere. So we have a front and back bone that kind of stiffens. We're probably going to need to do something like this as well for the sides. So I'm going to take these, I think, hopefully these will parent all together well, but I'm going to copy those and paste those. Nope, we don't want to do it that way. We want to duplicate. So this and this, right click, duplicate, and then click, and then go to my rotation, which is not also what I wanted to do. Let's look this from the front and rotate, and I want to spin them this way, very much in a 90 degrees, which it isn't letting me see that because they're within the whole bone hierarchy business. Let's rotate, and this one's going to need a roll control light here, so we're going to go back to this tool or item, I think it is, yeah, and we're going to hit roll to put that back to about 35. This one we're going to do the same thing, like that. So hopefully all of this works out. I keep saying that. Now these need to be parented to the other bones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the bone, and then this one, I'm going to go Control P, keep offset. It should be right. Now if I move this bone in pose mode, I'm just going to rotate it. It should move both these bones. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so back in edit mode, this to this, and Control P, keep offset, this one to this one, Control P, keep offset, and this one to this one, same thing, keep offset. So now this should control the entire head. I need to parent the legs to the spine, and I want to actually parent the head to this one. I don't know if that works. Let me try and move this bone and see if they're just already connected. Probably not. Oh, they are. So this one and this one, same thing. This one and this one, maybe. No. Okay, so that's the neck. That's why. So the neck works to the head, but this one needs to be parented to this one now. There we go. And then this one can be parented. So what I need to also make is some kind of a root bone. But let me see if I can just parent these to this one, and if that will work. Okay. It may not. And then we're going to symmetrize the skeleton. So in all honesty, I probably should have not added this bone. Let's find out. And I'm going to take all of our bones here. This is just me guessing. We're going to right click and symmetrize everything. That didn't work for crap. We probably only want to symmetrize these bottom ones. So let's undo that, and we're going to take these, right click, symmetrize. No. Okay. So I probably wanted to not parent them before I did that. Oh no. Well, no. I don't understand this. Symmetrize. Weird. Okay. Let's not do that. Let's unparent them. So this to this. We're going to go clear parent. And this to this, I'm going to go clear parent. And then we can symmetrize them, I believe, so that we can then reparent them. So right click, symmetrize. No. Why isn't this working? He does not know. Symmetrize. Nope. Okay, well that's a new one on me. I'm going to grab that bone, parent, clear, parent, clear, clear parent, parent, clear, clear parent. Maybe that will work now. Let's take this and symmetrize now. Nope. And if we do both, perhaps we needed to grab this and do the same. Nope. That is a really good question. I don't know what I've done. Let me back up. I'm going to back up from all the parenting and see what happens here. let's find out now if we can symmetrize these without any parenting, which we cannot. I am highly confused at this. Very interesting. Now, I can at least duplicate it and flip it. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to do that. So duplicate, and just make sure I don't have it still duplicated. No. Duplicate, and then with, come on, dude. Duplicate, click, and then I can mirror that over to the other side. I don't think I need to symmetrize. Well, that did symmetrize, so that's good. So then we'll do the same to this one. Just grab it, right click, duplicate. I keep doing that. Right click, duplicate, click, right click, symmetrize. There we go. Okay, now I can parent, I believe. So this one parents to this, and parent. Okay, that's weird. This one goes to here, Control P. I think those are already connected still, but I'm going to check here by moving this. You don't know until you know. So, okay, they are not. Good. So here, parents to here, Control P, connected. Okay. No, not connected. Okay, what am I doing wrong? This needs to parent to this one, just flat out. Control P. Why am I not getting a standard parenting option here? That's different. Maybe it is, he doesn't know. Let me see. This one is, which one? This might be considered a separate character for all. No, that's just my rig that I'll wind up popping in here. But, okay, blah, blah, blah. This is odd. I think I'm gonna have to delete these and redo them, because something happened in the parenting and unparenting that messed with them. That's fine. I can at least parent this guy or this guy to the spine. Control P. Keep offset. Maybe those are supposed to be connected, because they look like they should be connected because they are what they are. Let's see, this parented to this. Control P, keep offset. I'm just gonna keep the offset for now. Control P to this one. So we're gonna go from here to here. Control P, keep offset. Same for this one to this one. I don't know why that one didn't look like it was selected, but I guess it was. This one to here. Control P, keep offset. It's probably just the coloring of the bone. But that one's white, so I don't know. Control P, keep offset. Oops. Yep. This one just doesn't seem like it's lighting up like the others, and I don't know why that is. There it is. Keep offset. Okay, so now I'm going to make these head bones, and I don't know if the way I'm doing it is going to be the right way to do this. So we're going to add, with nothing selected, a single bone. Just going to grab it, move it about where I want it, and do the same thing. I'm going to take this, Shift D, move it over, move this over. How's it going over there? I'm going to also take these and move them, oops, not that one, this one and move them to select over to the right, or whatever that direction is. Center those up. There we go. And I'm going to duplicate them, I think. Don't know if it's going to let me. And rotate that group. Yep, it did. That's amazing. I'm happy. Now we got to parent each one of these to that center bone. So I'm going to go here, here, Control P, keep offset, here, here, Control P, keep offset, do the same thing, and hope all of this works, and keep offset. Now, the way to test this, I don't have a root bone, I just realized, but maybe I can move this guy, and that doesn't work. Cool. Okay. I think what I want to do is match this to a rig to really find out what's going on. These really should have their IK connected to that spine, but let me see if there is another limb. Head, leg, spine, arm, tail. Okay, that's not going to be any of those, so I don't think I need a root, but just checking on that. So I'm going to grab all of these guys. Actually, I'm going to go back into object mode. Select all of these guys. We're going to match to rig, and I don't believe it's letting me do so. Very uncool, because what it did was create a human rig, which we don't want. Cool. Well, this is becoming a big waste of time. This one is going to be multi-ped, and now let's try match to rig. No. All right, well, that was a huge waste of time. I appreciate you guys watching. I don't know why it's not working, to be honest with you. So what I'm going to do, believe it or not, is delete that rig. And I'm going to add, we can also do it in Rigify, but I just really wanted to use the AutoRig Pro because I really like the way it works. Let's just go ahead and add in an armature, I guess, of like a dog or a horse or something. Yeah. Let me go into edit reference bones. Make sure all this bones stay in front as far as your viewport display. Right here, we're going to go with viewport display in front. And then I'm going to move these around, and hopefully they're what I need. They appear to be more like I need. So let's get rid of our horse face bones. Limb options here. It says there are no options for that. I know there are. Limb options. Okay. Maybe it is within the bone here. Count bendy bones. No. Where is our face? We should be able to just turn the face bones off. Because that's the, I believe that's the head bone. That's the jaw reference. That's why. So I need to find the head bone, and it's probably this guy. And limb options. Yep. Skulls, align skulls, eyebrows off. Let's turn off facial altogether, and then we say okay. It goes away. So we have head and ears. We don't need the ears, so let's just see if in limb options we can also turn those off, but I don't see that option there. We can just hide them if nothing else. I can also come in here and disable these, so limb options. So it just says count 2. We can just come in, do this, disable, like so. But I don't, there's that one. This one now, disable. There we go. So now we do have the head, we have the spine. The spine really only needs to be like 3, I think. So let's just grab it. We can say limb options, and it's going to be a count of 4. I'm going to go down to 3 and say okay. And now we can start moving the bones around. We don't need a tail also. So limb options, count, blah, blah, blah. Let me see if we have limb options here for tail or not. I'm just going to, there should be a option for a tail. Don't see how to get rid of it, but interesting. See, there's tail. Count, bendy bones. I could just disable the tail. Let's just do that. That way we don't have to actually delete it. Okay, so from the right. If anybody's watching, say hello. If you're tired of watching me fail, I don't blame you. I'm just going to pull this out of my way here. And now try to adjust everything in a better way. So that should be our toes, our ankle, which can be right where it's at. This knee joint will wind up coming to here. This one will come in to here, and then we will have like so. We hope. The back foot, gotta be careful how this is gonna go, because this could be totally, just kind of screwing myself with this, but that's happened before. And I'll grab these like so. Some of them don't want to bend a certain way, so you have to fix the bend in them is all I'm getting at. And this can come out a little farther. And this guy, this is going to be our knee. This is going to be our hip there, and this will be something going to the front. So that's the side view. Let's go back to the front and back view and get these sorted out. Just going to grab everything here, move that over. I need to figure out also just exactly what needs to move where. I don't think, no, I think those were on the inside outside, so we'll just leave them like that for the moment. Those are my toe, my foot rotator controls. I think these were the inners, I think. So I'll grab it, move it over. Okay, and this is where we can, of course, pray that all this works in the end. These are going to be moved. I'm going to turn on my little symmetry here. I don't know that it's working. Like that. There we go. The feet can be brought out a little now. Something like that. Okay, I think that's working. So now the backbone and the head need to be, of course, rotated like this, moved to a decent position, I guess, kind of like that. This is going to be the head bone. The backbone really only needs 2 or so. This one is the neck, so this one we're just going to knock this down to maybe 2 bones. So let me just come in here to our limb options. We're going to go to 2, and it will do that. Grab this and move it down here. And honestly, let's get this one lower. It doesn't really need this much, but and then the neck is going to be kind of here. Not that we need much of that either. And this will be covering the head, making sure everything's centered. That's okay. The support bones, I am not entirely sure how to add in. Here's head. We could put another head bone in here. Let's just leave it at this for the moment. And let's go ahead and see if we can match this to a rig. Grab everything in the bones and match it to a rig. It did match to a rig, but I think our proportions are way off. So we're going to take that and also make it in front. Let's see what's going on. We can, of course, always move our rig pieces around and all that kind of thing, but let's go ahead and check the edit reference bones one more time. That looks fine. And let's go back to match to rig again, and then I want to take these shapes and edit those, and those also really need to be in front. So let's come out of there, apply. We're gonna make sure that those are in front of everything. Now we'll edit shape, because it needs to be in the proper shape, size, position, and so on. And right now it is nothing like that. I'm not even sure where the top of this one is, so good luck. We're gonna grab these points and move that over, make sure that we got our see-through on here. Yeah, I don't even know what the top of my shape is compared to the bottom. So I'm just going to grab these and pull them up to approximately head height, and then these up. You guys will excuse me 1 minute. Sorry about that. I had to take a short break there. So let's test to make sure that appears to be working. So I'm going to apply that shape and just move my shape around. I think that works. Got to remember this is from the side, so from the front I think that works. Let's look from the side again and get our neck bones kind of positioned here. So I'm not really sure which ones we need to adjust and where I need to adjust them. So we're going to edit this shape. Just going to drag it, grab it over somewhere here. Not even sure what that shape is for. We're going to edit this shape. Remember, this is front to back here. I'm going to grab these bits and move these around now. This is going to be kind of like our body slash pelvis area, I guess. I'm not sure which one goes on top. That's what's a little nerve-wracking about that. I'm going to grab this shape now, edit it. And that's cool that you can move these independently from the actual bone and stuff. Get these kind of put together. I'm going to grab that, apply that one, and I got to grab this one and figure out exactly. Whoops, don't want to do that. Don't move it yet. I'm going to edit it and then move it. Kind of where it's supposed to go. See what they look like from the front. I think I can work with that. I'm not sure if this one goes on top or not. We'll find out here though shortly, because I'm going to go now into object mode, grab the rig, or the guy, and then grab the rig. And then we are going to what am I not doing here? Oh, probably need to go ahead and do I need to be edit reference bones for this? Match to rig. Let's make sure those are in front. I'm not sure why that's not working. So I'm going to check my feet. They're also off. So let's fix the feet real quick now that I'm thinking about it. But that is not my main issue here. So I'll have to figure out a couple of things. The feet definitely are off. So let's edit this shape. Grab it, move it back. Apply, grab this one, edit shape, move it back. Not sure. Let's just grab this one, edit, scale that one up, move it around. Grab this one, do the same. Pretty close. Okay, so but now I got to figure out how I have to be out of pose mode probably. We're gonna take the guy. I'm gonna grab the rig. Normally this would let me bind it, but it's saying, oh, there we go. Perfect. So now bind. And it should make decent weight maps, we hope. So now with that bound, I should be able to check this with pose mode. And we should get a movable character. Okay, cool. Let's move maybe this one that I was a little concerned about first. Okay, that's back hips. This is going to be the whole body, which is what I'm looking for. And then my feet, let's get those going like so. Perfect. This one as well. Perfect. And there you go, guys. Now it's just a matter of animating and putting this into iClone or something like that for sale. I can also add a couple extra bones if I want for support in here. Just rematch it to the rig, and he's ready to go. All right, cool. Well, thank you for watching. I think that's probably a really good run for what we did today. Like, subscribe.